So this is 35 pounds worth of leveler in a bag. Normally levelers are 55 pounds or 50 pounds to a bag, but we're using a hybrid that has a latex acrylic additive to it already. You notice the air bubbles, so the air entrapped that's coming up. And then what we do is we come back over top of the material where the air bubbles are, and we allow them, as you see here, how the material is flowing into the void. And you can see here. And so if we were to just leave it like this, it would just continue to pinhole, and you can see all the little bubbles that are there. But then we have to come across one more time, and we've now filled everything back up. You'll notice is with the self-leveling compound, this is a hybrid product that doesn't require a primer. It's extremely expensive for a large project like this. Normally we would come in and use a primer that we would actually use to wet out the slab. And then what we do is you can tell the difference with the self-leveler, because in the thicker area here where I apply it, you see very little or no pinholing. So all this would require is maybe be a basic patch before floor laying is installed, maybe. This area here where I dragged it to be a little bit thinner, you can see where the material initially was at the very top, is now soaking in, and you can see, if you zoom in, Brent, you can actually see all the pinholes, and that's where all of the leveler is being absorbed and sucked down into the leveler. So typically what we would do is the right process would be to prime the slab with a proper primer, and then what you do is typically pour about 1/4 inch of material over top of it. It sounds like it's a lot, but in actual reality, a good portion of it would be absorbed into the pits of the concrete, and the rest of it would be left over to smooth out the surface. And then you would end up with something like a similar area right there. Right, so this is the second area that we did, and this is a single coat, a thick coat of patching compound that we typically use as preparation below carpet tile or even luxury vinyl plank. What you'll notice here is that the floor is, the concrete is just as pitted as it was in the self-leveling area. But you'll notice here is you notice a lot of the bubbles that are visible. What happens to this is now, once this dries, we're going to have to hit it with a sander, a sanding type of a product. And what that's going to do is that's going to actually take out all of these trowel lines, trowel ridges, but it'll also knock down a lot of these bubbles that are there. When this material hardens, what it'll do is it'll actually knock it down and create a further divot, because all of these pinholes that you're seeing here now and the raised bubbles in the areas are actually air entrapped below. So in order for us to have an effective floor, we're going to probably have to hit this at least maybe 3 times. And each time we're going to have to probably throw a sander on it just to see how well it covers. So we're going to see exactly how well it covers, but pass by pass, you'll also notice the shop blaster wheels. These are the tracks on the ground that we need to make sure that are covered. And that'll probably take at least 2, maybe 3 good solid passes of patch. So again, the key thing to be concerned about here is just making sure that we don't have any pinholes, especially in large area like here, larger areas here and here, where the divots of concrete, the aggregate has actually been blown out. So those are going to be the critical areas for us to patch.